Good morning. Welcome back. Today we get to start a new book. So I have for you, this is called The Magic of the Unicorn, and it's something special. It's a choose your own adventure book. So that means that throughout the book, it's going to give us a choice, and then we have to follow that page number. They're really fun. I loved these books growing up. This one I've read 7 times now, and it's been a different story each time. So we're going to read it. I hope you enjoy it. Here we go. This is The Magic of the Unicorn. Hi, Charlie. The Magic of the Unicorn by Deborah Lerme Goodman. Here we go. The summer of 1507 is exceptionally dry throughout Flanders. Fires scorch the forests, crops wither, and animals collapse from thirst. Nowhere is the drought as severe as in your own small village. Just last week, when you went to check the dwindling water supply, you discovered a dead rat floating in the well upon which everyone depended. Since then, the water has been foul and tainted. You can't eat water if there's been a dead rat in it. You get sick. The barrels of rainwater are nearly empty, and all attempts to dig a new well have yielded nothing but dry earth. One morning, after weeding the field you inherited when your parents died 10 years ago, you pay a visit to Marie Claire. She is the oldest person in the village and one of your special friends. So it does have pictures in it. There's the well. And this one says, turn to the next page. So we don't have any choices yet. Some people say this might be the last summer any of us lives to see, you tell her sadly. None of the other villages around has enough water to share with us, and it's hopeless to keep trying to dig a new well. I wish there was something I could do about it. Marie Claire looks up from her knitting. You could try to lure a unicorn to the well. Why, the touch of its horn purifies even poison. But Marie Claire, you exclaim, around here unicorns are rarer than water. I bet it would be easier to find the sorceress than a unicorn. That's a good idea, she replies. I'm sure the sorceress knows all about unicorns. Why don't you look for her? But no one has seen her in years, you remind Marie Claire. The last person who tried to find her never returned. Ah, but you are 10 times smarter than anyone who has ever searched for the sorceress. If anyone can find her, it's you. Although you feel flattered, you're not sure you are really clever enough. Well, I'll give it a try. I wonder if I still remember that riddle describing the way to find the sorceress. Is this right? You take a deep breath and recite. Near a land reserved for woe, in a place that's high but low, watch which way the bat doth go. Find me there and I will know. That's a tricky rhyme. Okay, so it says turn to the next page. Perfect, says Marie Claire as she hands you a glass pendant shaped like a raindrop. I'll show you the picture. Here you go. See? Woo. We'll get into focus here. There's the pendant, the raindrop pendant. So you can see, and down here, we're going to have to make a choice. So we're getting close to the first one. Put on my good luck talisman. Use it as you need it, my friend. You say goodbye to Marie Claire, then roam the parched fields. After pondering the riddle, you think of 2 places reserved for woe. Woe is kind of like, oh, woe. Woe is me, sadness. The sorceress could mean the village graveyard or the small camp outside the village where 2 men who suffer from leprosy live in gloomy isolation. So now, down here, we get 2 choices that we get to make. If you decide to go to the camp, where the men were, turn to page 8. If you head to the graveyard, turn to page 12. Well, I think the graveyard would have a lot of sadness and woe. So I'm going to pick the graveyard, and I am going to turn to page 12. So I left off, this is page 4, and hi, Charlie, and I'm going to go to page 12 now. Even though the path to the graveyard is all downhill, you are hot and thirsty by the time you arrive there. You sit in the shade of a drooping tree to cool off. As you watch parched leaves float to the dusty ground, you consider the next line of the riddle. In a place that's high but low? What can be both high and low? Looking around, you notice the rolling slopes of the hills along the far side of the graveyard. They seem to be both high and low. And then the church bell rings, striking noon. Turning, you realize the steeple of the church also fits the riddle. The church itself is in a low valley, but the steeple towers high above the village. So now it says down here, it's giving us two options down at the bottom. So it says, if you walk over to the hills, turn to page 5. If you enter the church, turn to page 16. I'm feeling like maybe the church was a good clue. So I'm going to turn to page 16. And I'll read one more. Okay, here we go. Page 16. We're continuing our story. When you go inside the church, Brother Michael looks up from the candelabrum he is polishing. I was just wishing for some company. What are you up to, my friend? I'm looking for the sorceress. You explain your interpretation of the riddle. Brother Michael strokes his chin. That's stroking your chin. People do it when they think. It's like a thinking beard, an imaginary thinking beard. You explain your interpretation of the riddle. Oh my goodness. Mrs. Heffa needs to drink her coffee. You explain your interpretation of the riddle. Brother Michael strokes his chin. I don't believe anyone has ever considered the graveyard or steeple when figuring out that riddle. So you may be on the right track. The next line of the riddle says to watch which way the bat doth go. You tell him, have you ever seen bats here? Plenty, he exclaims. At night they fly around the steeple. I've heard them down in the cellar too, although I never actually go in there. I didn't know there was a cellar under the church. Oh, there's a crawl space there, but it's too small to be very useful, says Brother Michael. Not only that, it's so infested with spiders that no one dares set foot in it. It would be a clever place for the sorceress to hide. If I had the courage, I'd look there. You are tempted to investigate the cellar, even though you don't like the idea of running into a web full of spiders. You also remind yourself that the riddle mentions a place that's high but low, and the cellar doesn't fit that description as well as the steeple does. Steeple, cellar. You know what? I think I'm going to go with the steeple. So that means down here, if I pick the steeple option, it says I need to turn to page 10. So I get to turn backwards now in the book. All right. This is where we're going to stop. A cliffhanger! So we're going to stop. We're going to see what happens if I made the right choice or not. We'll see. All right. I'll see you Wednesday for another part of the story. All right, guys.